All right, we're going to talk about strategy and tactic. And a lot of this has to do with confrontation, but it can also just be the way that we respond to someone else's energy within our space. The number one thing is to regard our space within that 6 feet parameters, is this is my domain and I get to choose who enters and who stays on the outside of that sphere. So that's really something that we can command and demand. And that we can use our verbal command, we can use our body language, but it's also, we can start to move people and situations exactly how we want them to be. So, for example, if somebody is coming toward me, the one piece about strategy and tactic is that I don't ever want to step straight back. Stepping straight back can kind of put me up against a wall or corner me into a situation or a scenario that is going to be less than ideal. So the tactic would be to actually step forward, and that's really assertive. It's going to give that air of confidence, and it's also going to kind of trip somebody up. It's going to startle somebody that you're actually moving toward the conflict. The other thing you can do, like we talked about in the previous videos, is actually start to circle somebody around, maneuver somebody. You really want to be able to own somebody's, they say fight your fight, and not necessarily that we have to fight combat, but if this is a confrontation, you get to be in charge of it in a sense. And so that's where we start to move. That is another tactic, is that we are never going to be still, in a sense. Just always keep moving. I'm kind of just drifting. I can be, when you step backwards, it's a little bit unassuming. You could see from here, if I was going to try to bridge a gap a little bit, is I would kind of come backwards and I would circle around. So that it was very like unassuming. My hands are down. I'm not trying to come at you and attack. I'm just really trying to bridge that gap. And then the other thing is when I'm coming close to you and I'm having a conversation with you, my chest is facing the same direction that your chest is facing. So we don't actually have to be direct. We actually can just kind of really practice that body positioning and see kind of what that feels like to, again, we talked about a little bit of neutralizing, and it's also getting a level playing field. So in the past, I have experienced where there was a intense meeting and I commanded that we both sit and face the same direction, and so that we couldn't even actually look at each other, so there wouldn't be an escalation. It would actually just be, we could look directly in front of us and we were still talking over here, but we could just try to neutralize and de-escalate the situation. The other thing is a tactic is going to be your entry and your exit. So you always want to see where the exit is. This is actually not an exit, so I wouldn't want to go in there for the exit, but I see where my exit is. So whenever you enter a space, you're looking for your exit. How are you going to get to that exit point? So when you go to a restaurant, you want to think about, where are you positioned, where you're sitting, where you're at the table. Can you see the exit points? How are you going to get to that place? Let's just say you're at a restaurant, you go to the bathroom, and it's also a very vulnerable place to be in the bathroom, because you're kind of, I've heard of people getting attacked in the stalls in a sense. So just being really aware and mindful of, how am I going to get out of here and what am I going to do? One of the strategies also, so the 45, my body is 45 degrees, is going to be, exiting this way at a 45. I'm going to be 45, This is like that parry kind of to the side. I always want to stand my ground. I never want to give up my ground. So thinking more going to the 45 forward, and I still have my hands up. I'm in my 45 degrees. So you're just going to be thinking about, how do I get out of the situation at that 45 degrees? And then the straight on is to come in and to it's almost like a steamroll, or like one of those hits that you saw, that you see on the football field. It's almost like a tackle, is just taking everything you have and just shooting straight through somebody, and then just keep moving through. So these are just a few different strategies. If you noticed, one of the main responses when we get something that we're not ready for is that we kind of come back like this, and we cover up, and we get into this position. Oh, don't hurt me, or oh, don't hurt me. So the most important thing is to keep my chest up, keep my head up, keep my guard up. Get that 45 degrees. I'm on my feet. I'm going to move. I'm ready to go to any direction I need to get out. I'm looking for my direction. And then the last part of the strategy is really, I call it the unleash. And the unleash is like completely going mentally out of control. There is no more control. This is survival mode. And that is going to be, if you get attacked on the street, you get all of a sudden somebody is holding you down, you unleash. You take out your arms, your hands. Now we're going into more of an active role, where now we're in this self-defense, and there's no playing nice. That we are not friends, and there are no apologies. This is, you have crossed the line, and now I'm going to win. So we'll go more into, in the near future, we'll go more into actually techniques where you can, like, what you're going to do if you are attacked on the street, or what you're going to do when there's a scenario that makes you uncomfortable, how you're going to respond. But if you've noticed, up until this point, there has not been any actual punches and kicks. There's not been any kind of physical attack or response. All of martial mindset is really how we perceive the world around us and how we set ourselves up for success. So that's just something that I want you to really take in. And this is our practice. This is what we're going to practice. This is how we get street smart. As we get street smart by putting these tactics and these strategies into our DNA, so that when things actually happen, that we're ready for them, and we have actually a way to move the energy. We have somewhere to go. We're not caught unawares. We don't know what to do. Now we know what to do, and now we just have to practice and role play and find out. Just start putting yourself in the position of, okay, I need to get out of this situation right now. How am I going to go? Where am I going to go? What's my body positioning? How am I going to move my feet? How am I going to move my hands? Where am I looking? What am I saying? These are all things that we get to hone. These are our skills. So here we are, to strategy and tactic. Let's do it.